welcome to this video. On September 24th at 7:51 p.m. Pacific time, there is a full moon in Aries happening. And this full moon will be conjunct Chiron in Aries and opposite the Sun in Libra as well as Mercury in Libra. And they will all square Saturn in Capricorn, creating a T-square. So this within itself is going to help us bring about healing through communication and through talking in a one-on-one situation, but it will not be necessarily the easiest thing with the square to Saturn happening. So with the T-square going on, usually with T-squares, it's an opposition squaring planet, basically, hence the T-square. So these are all, the opposition planets are all squaring Saturn, so it's like the emphasis is kind of on Saturn. So with the opposition itself, it's got the Sun and Mercury and then the Moon and Chiron going on, so there's emotional healing to be had, and then there's communication and really being present with someone else to allow that healing to occur. But then that square to Saturn, it's like, okay, well, apparently there's some responsibility to be, whether it's you taking more responsibility or taking on more responsibility in general. And of course, wherever Capricorn is in your chart will help you understand where you're taking on more responsibility. But in some way, there's a sense of more responsibility being put upon you or you and your relationship because of whether it's outside forces or something within the relationship. So there, an example would be like, for me, Saturn is in my, 5th/6th house right now. It's like right on the cusp of it. So children could be a source of responsibility for me, or it could be pets that are a source of responsibility for me. Things like that. So wherever Capricorn is in your chart would actually help you indicate where the hell the responsibility is coming from. But either way, it's going to be like sort of a part of the healing process in some way because of that, the full moon happening conjunct Chiron. So it's, all kind of a part of this process, whether it is, in your relationship or within yourself. And especially within yourself because it does involve Aries, which is, the sign of self. And yeah, there's also another T-square happening with Venus at 8 degrees of Scorpio opposing Uranus retrograde at 1 degree of Taurus, and they are both square Mars conjunct the South Node in Aquarius. So the Venus opposite Uranus is like moving out of that opposition now because Uranus is moving backwards and Venus is moving forwards, so it's almost completely like over that one. But because they're both square, Mars conjunct the South Node in Aquarius, I included it in this T-square situation because it might have been relevant for the last couple of days or weeks, and may continue to be somewhat relevant to this full moon. So Venus in Scorpio has been helping us to become more vulnerable and allow our shadow side to come forward more in our relationship. And with Uranus opposing it, it has maybe brought some surprises along the way, maybe unexpected things coming up or unexpected financial things potentially because of Taurus, and also Scorpio rules other people's finances. So maybe there's been some tension around finances coming up potentially as well. And then squaring Mars conjunct the South Node in Aquarius. So with Mars conjunct the South Node in Aquarius, this is helping us to confront things that need to shift within our relationships, not our relationships, our friendships. more importantly, and our community too. It could also be bringing up technological things, whether it's like confronting what isn't working technologically within your situation. Could be related to social media, could be related to even artificial intelligence, maybe, hearing warnings about what could be happening, on a grander scale with technology. And with it involved in this T-square, it is going to have more of an emphasis on your relationships, because Venus is square Mars, and then Uranus is going to be square Mars conjunct the South Node. So actually both of those themes will be at play, whether it's in your relationships or within technology itself. Could even be a melding of, whether technology and your relationship is becoming an issue in some way, whether you're someone who might be online dating, maybe you're running into problems as a result of online dating or things like that, It could even be that your social media is causing issues in your relationship. Things of that nature could be happening, but it could also be that grander view of what is technology doing to our relationships in general, what is it doing into our friendships, whether it's beneficial or not beneficial. And at this time, we might be seeing the darker side of it, of how it's affecting our relationships and friendships. But ultimately, it's going to just help us become aware of that and what it is we need to do to change it. So that could be involving taking action in your community and being more present in your friendships, being more present in your relationships, and not being distracted as much by technology or social media or whatever it is we use, to connect, via technology or whatever. And then there is a trine with Mars in the South Node in Aquarius to the Sun and Mercury in Libra, as well as a sextile to the full moon and Chiron in Aries. So with this combination going on, the sextile to the moon and Chiron is going to bring that what needs to heal, what we need to confront within our friendships and within our community, and how we connect with people on a greater scale, and things like that, like maybe things that need to heal within yourself, maybe talking to a friend and confronting issues with a friend can help bring about healing. And with the trine to Mercury and Libra, this can also be about healing in your relationships and one-on-one relationships. And when I say partnerships, it could be also business partnerships or any kind of one-on-one relationship, whatever, usually Libra rules one-to-one relationships. So it could be a friend that you are also, thinking about that needs to heal too, especially with the sextile going on to, the Aquarius and then, or the Mars and the South Node in Aquarius trining the Sun and Mercury and Libra. It could be a need to talk to a friend, or it could be a need to work out something within your relationship and allow for the healing with the moon and the Chiron going on. So hopefully that all made sense, because I think I might have gotten confused for a second at some point. All right. And so Neptune retrograde at 14 degrees of Pisces, it is trine the midpoint of Venus and Jupiter in Scorpio. So Venus is at 8 degrees and Jupiter is at 21 degrees, and Neptune being at 14 degrees of Pisces is trining the midpoint between those two planets, because when you add on 6 degrees to 8, it's 14, and when you subtract 7 degrees from 21, it's 14, and Neptune's actually at 1437 of Pisces, and I think, you know, basically the midpoint would be 14 degrees of Scorpio approximately, and a little bit more, like 14. It would be about that exact degree. So that is interesting, Neptune trining the midpoint of Venus and Jupiter. So it's pretty much trying both of those planets. And this actually creates a very romantic sense in our relationships, and a feeling that of like optimism and idealism. So right now is a very idealistic time in your relationships. Now, the one warning with Neptune being in a positive association with Venus as well as Jupiter is that idealism and optimism can create rose-colored glasses, and you might not be seeing things clearly or for what they really are. So it is important to be mindful of that during this time, because you might be over-idealizing your situation a little more than you should, and possibly harming yourself in the process if you're not careful. If you don't know someone well enough, then it's not the best time to put your 100% trust into that person. But if you're already in a relationship and in trust with someone, then this can be a very romantic and beautiful time for your relationships, and very intuitive and very sensitive and emotional time. Like, you can connect very deeply and at a very deep, sensitive level with someone, and really share in that energy with someone, and be in a beautiful state of love and beauty and optimism and joy, and this feeling of expansion and wonder can also be increased as well, and very spiritual experience as well because of Venus trine Jupiter. So it is a very gorgeously wonderful time to revel in general. So it would, just revel in that beauty if you can, and definitely, enjoy it while it lasts. But, for those of you who maybe don't know the person very well, just be wary and, keep your discernment intact. Don't fall head over heels too madly, because Neptune can be deceptive at times. And Scorpio can be dark, so there is that element of being a little bit intense, and we don't know the person yet, and so you should be weary of the murky waters, because the water may shine on the surface, but when you dig deeper, there could be some murky, scary things lurking. No. All right. And then I'm just going to mention again, Pluto at 18 degrees of Capricorn is still sextile both Neptune and Jupiter. So there's still some truths being uncovered in terms of authority figures, and still much to learn about what is really going on in terms of the powers that be, and things might still be a little bit murky in regards to that as well because of Neptune, but ultimately the truth will show itself eventually, and that, I think, is the one thing with Scorpio, is that the truth will be revealed. It's kind of a Scorpio thing, and Jupiter being in Scorpio, it brings that too. And another thing, so I recently went to the movies. A Simple Favor is what it was called, and that movie is very Jupiter and Scorpio. just gonna put that out there, no spoilers here. It's very Jupiter and Scorpio, so if you've seen it, you might know what I'm talking about. But yeah, they almost make light of so many taboo subjects like Jupiter and Scorpio. So, and then and Jupiter and Neptune are still barely trining within 7 degrees, but it's moving out of that trine. So some truths have been revealed, and I guess now Jupiter is moving on to bigger and better things. No? All right. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share. I appreciate it very much. And thank you to my new subscribers and to everyone who's been subscribed to me. I appreciate it very much. Have an awesome time.